This is Stanton Moor. Humans have been visiting this area since the Bronze Age. Some visitors are even expected to date back to the Neolithic era, meaning this land is full of lore and legends. Today I'll be walking to the Nine Ladies Stone Circle and exploring the history, heritage and folklore associated with these what were once considered sacred lands. Most stone circles were thought to have been built during the late Neolithic period, transitioning into the Bronze Age. Some stone circles in Britain are even thought to be over 7,000 years old. Many of these circles were adopted into Celtic and pagan practices such as rituals, ceremonies, social gatherings, and on rare occasions, burials. They were also often used in the marking of celestial events like the solstices and the equinoxes. During medieval times, scholars noticed stone circles and began to write about them, especially in relation to Druids, which is how we began to discover what traditions Druids built and practiced around these circles. Druids played an important role in the Celtic society and often acted as religious leaders, philosophers, judges, keepers of history and myth, and healers. They were the wise men of their time, almost like a high-ranking priest within Celtic culture, often associated with magic. The first landmark spotted on my route was the Cork Stone, which is a natural standing stone that has over the years weathered into this unusual mushroom-like shape. The carvings are thought to be from the 19th and 20th century, alongside the footsteps and hollowed metal rings which were placed there to provide passers-by access to the top. So we're going to go look at the stone circle and just look into some of the history behind the stone circle and stone circles in general. It's very, very peaceful around here. The Stanton Moor area itself, which is where I am now, is very well known for prehistoric monuments. I think the Nine Ladies one is the best known, but there are actually a lot of stone circles in this area and stones that were thought to be placed and erected in prehistoric times and in the Bronze Ages, so they're a few thousand years old. They had different uses. Some of them were actually burial grounds apparently, and some of them were ceremonial places or meeting places. The people who lived here apparently found the land very sacred, so it has kind of like a magical feel. Just walking and it feels so autumnal today. It feels really, really nice. There's a chill in the air and the leaves are starting to turn, so all the colours look really beautiful. So this area is also apparently steeped in folklore. Obviously the Nine Ladies has its own folklore, which includes the story of 9 ladies who were dancing on the Sabbath, which was obviously, it was a sacred day, and they were dancing to a fiddler. And because this was deemed to be a sin, they were turned to stone, which is why there are 9. And the fiddler was also turned to stone, so I think he's just outside of the circle, or potentially in the middle, but I'm sure we will find out when we get there. The 10th stone was discovered in the late 70s. It was actually hidden by a lot of ground until a drought happened in 1976, I believe. There are quite a lot of striking boulders and rocks on this route. I'm not at the stone circle yet, but it makes me wonder what these rocks have seen over the years, if this land was deemed sacred and people would walk over it so much and utilise it so much, then it makes you wonder what these rocks have witnessed in the past and what kind of people they met. You can see a couple of carvings in this stone, but I mean, even here this looks a little bit like a carving, but they're so weathered. I know these aren't prehistoric because they are just initials, but it does make you wonder. I'm seeing a lot of mushrooms suddenly just popping up in between all of the ferns, heather. There are so many just kind of dotted around. I just found some very unusual looking tracks. They almost look like little hands. I assume that these are badger tracks, but I could be wrong. I'm also unsure if these are blueberry bushes, which I didn't know you would find in England. That looks like a blueberry to me. I'm not going to eat it just in case, because I'm not educated in foraging. The Nine Ladies is currently owned by the English Heritage and was first recorded by Major Hayman Rooke in 1782. It's now regarded as a major sacred site by modern pagan groups, and thanks to these groups and the Nine Ladies anti-quarry campaign, the site was protected from damage between the late 1990s and 2010, after developmental threats from the Haddon Hall estate. Apparently, the Peak Park and English Heritage itself were not interested in preserving the monument at the time. So I'm just walking up to the King's Stone, which apparently I think is this stone here. It's quite hard to figure it out, but it looks like the right shape. Yeah, this is the one. So this is the King's Stone, which is the fiddler in the folklore tale. And you can see up there, there's the Nine Ladies. You may be able to also make out the name Bill Stumps in this rock. Bill is kind of worn away now. I could roughly see an I and potentially two L's here, but Stumps is a little bit clearer. Bill Stumps is strangely a character from the Pickwick Papers that Charles Dickens wrote, so I'm not sure what the relevance of that is. Again, I'm not sure what the cross is, and I can't quite work out what this is. It almost looks like a zero. I struggled to find any research on this carving, so it'll be interesting if anybody has any idea of who Bill Stumps was in relation to this stone or the stone circles, then please comment down below, because I would love to know. And here is the Nine Ladies stone circle. From some older images it actually looks like there used to be a stone in the middle here, but there's just loads of random twigs and bits of mushroom now, so I'm not really sure what's gone on there. Just out of the stone circle as well, there are quite a few boulders which have been carved with these really strange carvings, but some of them look quite new, so I can't really work out whether they are of any kind of significance or if they are just random people carving random things into rocks throughout the years, like Roy and Kath, for example. When I was researching the stone circles, I also found out that people wouldn't carve art into the stones that were featured in any of these circles because they are so sacred and they were considered to be so special that they didn't want to taint them, I guess you could say, with any artworks. But apparently there are different stones in the area. There is a crow, can you hear that? There are different stones in the area that do have prehistoric artwork on, or Bronze Age artwork. Another interesting fact about this monument is that it used to be surrounded by an embankment, and then there would be a mound in the middle, and you can almost just see the embankment kind of here where the ground just lifts slightly. You can just see the shape that is kind of reminiscent of the original period and how it would have looked potentially thousands of years ago. There is a robin that just came to say hello to me. You can see him behind me, but he keeps moving. Hi. I know you're waiting for my sandwich. I'm really sorry, it's just my sandwich. But you're so cute. That was a no. So I've just finished my nature journaling. I had my sandwich, and as I was eating, a robin just came and sat right next to me, and I really mean like on this rock here. He came and sat next to me, and it was really sweet. I think he was looking for sandwich scraps, but I didn't have any to give him. I did put some on the floor afterwards, but he didn't stay for very long, so maybe he'll come back when I've gone. But he was very, very sweet. I'm kind of sad that I didn't get a video of him because he was so close. So, yeah, I'm very, very grateful to this piece of woodland because it's just been such a nice, relaxing and peaceful day. Fortunately, going to have to head back to my car shortly, so I'll continue the walk and we'll see what else we find on the way back.